A very big welcome, Swagatam and Bula Vinaka to Fiji and the diaspora of our indigenous and Indo-Fijian communities, watching the culmination of an historic 5 days of commemoration of not only the sacrifices of the Girmitia, but also the descendants, as well as the everlasting bonds of unity with our indigenous community, with whom we have lived side by side for 144 years. The past 4 days have been truly memorable, and today will be no exception. All of us have just witnessed the reincarnation of the way of life during the 37 years of indenture or Girmit, either in the display of Girmit artifacts and pictures or the float procession that many of you have seen. I want to especially take this opportunity to thank Dr. Shri Rajkumar Ranjan Singh Ji and Honorable Shri Patel Ji for being part of this momentous and historical occasion. It is a testament to the fact that the ties between India and Fiji was always strong, but will get stronger and stronger. Ladies and gentlemen, the Girmit commemoration will be remembered for its vibrancy, color, and inclusivity. Amongst the various events organized to mark the rich tradition, heritage, culture, and history of the Girmitia was the reconciliation service organized by the Methodist Church of Fiji and Rotuma yesterday afternoon. Yesterday was an historic day of genuine display of love, righteousness, where one community sought forgiveness from the other. It marked another chapter of our meeting of hearts between descendants of the Girmitia and our Itoke community, as well as all other races in Fiji. It was symbolic. Leaders from every walk of life gathered and bequeathed our future generations a future full of hope by taking a giant stride towards genuine healing and reconciliation. We will not solve all of the heartaches of the past week in a week. There remains much work to be done, but it marked the end of an ugly chapter in our lives and the dawn of a new era. It is a beginning of an era where descendants of the Girmitia and their children can commemorate and share history with the nation, because our Prime Minister and the leader of the coalition government, Honorable Sitiveni Rambuka, prioritized it. And Prime Minister, I want to take this opportunity to especially thank you for your initiative, for your vision, and for your decision to declare, first time in the history of Fiji, Girmit as a national public holiday. We all know that the contribution of the Girmitia to the social, economic, and political advancement of Fiji, notably the development of the sugar industry into an economic backbone of the country for more than 100 years. We recognize and applaud the historic and immeasurable role in the transition of Fiji from 96 years of colonial rule to independence in 1970. Descendants of the Girmitia have done their forefathers and the nation immensely proud, both locally and internationally, in the fields of economy, education, politics, and law. They have and are serving the land of the birth with distinction. The founding of schools, building of temples, mosques, churches, and preservation of languages, culture and traditions is a hallmark of the principles of self-dignity and respect inculcated by the Girmitia in their descendants and passed on from one generation to another. This is the legacy that the current generation must cherish, uphold and bequeath to future generations. One way of ensuring this is through education of our children, of the sacrifices and struggle for dignity and justice for our Girmitia. But that is one small step towards protection of the legacy of the Girmitia. Ladies and gentlemen, the Girmitia legacy must live on well into the future. It must not and cannot be abandoned. The Indo-Fijian community has a rich history, it has a rich culture, it has immensely contributed to Fiji. It must continue doing so for Fiji's advancement. The future cannot be constructed from a position of fear or exclusion of others. Yesterday's reconciliation should send a very strong signal that Fiji was, is, and will be the motherland of the descendants of the Girmitia. The only way forward is to be proud of our heritage, celebrate the work and efforts of our ancestors, illuminate a path into the future through hard work and unity that brings success and honor to Fiji. We must ensure that we carry on with our rich heritage into the future, and just like what our forefathers did. We are the descendants of the Girmitia who traveled the high seas of the Kalapani 144 years ago to a land unknown to live and succeed despite adversities, because our forefathers possessed self-dignity. At least for 4 generations later, we have learned from our forefathers not only to create success for ourselves, but for Fiji. Just like our forefathers, we cannot take away anything from anyone. That is our legacy. That is who we are. Our future is not to just make a living for ourselves. Our future is to work with everyone to make Fiji flourish. Our future is not to live in fear of one another or each other, but to build bridges with all. Our future is to join hands with every community to make Fiji a land of hope and opportunity. Yesterday's historic reconciliation and signing of a deed known as Fort Fiji is the best part of being together for Fiji's future. The signatories of the deed have pledged to share self and personal interest and work in the national interest. Working together in peace and harmony is our future. Fiji's well-being is our future. It is highly symbolic that the first ever historical Girmit Day holiday is being commemorated at Albert Park, where 96 years of colonial rule ended more than 52 years ago, with firstly the lowering of the Union Jack and handing over of instruments of independence. Before I conclude, I want to wish all our Rotuman brothers and sisters happy Rotuma Day, and I want to say, let freedom reign. May God bless Fiji, and thank you. Ndaka Bakalebu, Dhanyawad and Shukriya.